So we're here at the New York International Auto Show, and we've been very interested in how General Motors would approach this show. This is a huge forum for the global auto business. Some of their chief rivals, Toyota and Ford, have had big splashy presentations, but GM is doing it very differently, presumably because of their house under siege to some extent with the recall scandal. They're often a separate part of the building. Cadillac is on the main floor, but the GMC, Buick, and Chevrolet brands are all in a separate wing away from the main show. There's not a lot of traffic down here, relatively few folks down here, and they don't have any big debuts at the show. They don't have a single event on the press conference calendar. They held private events last night to show off a couple of new models away from the show at separate facilities. Very controlled access, and the contrast with Ford is really dramatic. Ford executives are all over the place here. We've seen Chairman Bill Ford himself. We're going to talk to Mark Fields later today, Ford's Chief Operating Officer. Ford North America Chief Joe Hendricks is here. Their Design Chief Raj Nair is here. We've seen all these folks. They've been accessible. We haven't seen any of GM's brass here at all. Certainly not CEO Mary Barra or any of her top lieutenants that we would expect to see. People like Product Chief Mark Royce, who is in New York, we understand, but who is not available at the show and is not talking to media. Presumably, this is part of their strategy around the recall. They don't want to have to answer awkward questions over and over and over. And to some extent, I can't blame them. But it's a really awkward thing for General Motors right now. Until this recall scandal broke, they had such a good story to tell. Improving products, improving sales around the world. And now, you know, the recall has completely changed the subject. It's hard for them to tell the story they want to tell. So they're here. They've got a lot of vehicles here, including some new products, which we'll show you, but a very subdued and separate presence. Somebody was saying it was almost as if GM had decided to quarantine themselves from the rest of the show. A very interesting choice of strategy for them to do this.